Hi, welcome to our show, Incredible Incubators. I'm your host, Swati Dayal. Meet Mr. Uday Wankawala. He is the CEO of Atal Incubation Centre, Rambhau Mhalgi Prabodhini Foundation, supported by AIM NITI Aayog. He is an educator, collaborator, and motivator dedicated to nurturing new age entrepreneurs for a modern India. With a strong background in entrepreneurship, Mr. Uday has engaged with over 1 lakh students across 400 plus academic campuses, including prestigious institutions like IITs and IIMs. His experience includes leadership roles at incubators and organizations focused on fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. In addition to his extensive work in major cities, Mr. Uday has also made significant efforts to promote entrepreneurship in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. In this interview, you will get insights from his wealth of experience and expertise. Mr. Uday, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, really appreciate wonderful initiative by the team, and I think it's very much required at this moment, wherein we go length and breadth across the country and talk about incubation startup ecosystem. Once again, very much thankful to the entire team.
So, Mr. Uday, can you please share some key insights or experiences from your extensive travel across Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities to build an entrepreneurship ecosystem? What actually motivated you to embark on this journey?
Very good question. See, the whole idea around when we say startup ecosystem innovation, what used to happen, and still I think at times we see a lot of metros and mainly the cities like Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore having the major share of it. And I believe that it's high time wherein we really need to identify that raw talent and potential from Tier 2, Tier 3 as well. And that's where I think this happened way back in 2016, 17, almost 7-8 years back, wherein I saw a lot of people talking about the potential, but nobody was really wanting to get into that particular ecosystem and understand how Tier 2 or Tier 3 works. And that's where I took it up as a challenge. And I mean, more than a motivation, it was more of a challenge that I took it up. And then I really wanted to explore and then see exactly how we could really tap this potential, and then also an unexplored territory. I mean, at the end of the day, when you say an entrepreneur, it's always about taking risk and also about doing something which nobody else has done. So it's all about challenging the status quo. And I really wanted to explore it. And that's where I started my journey traveling to Tier 2, Tier 3 towns, thanks to National Entrepreneurship Award Scheme by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and few other initiatives which I was a part of. That gave me an exciting phase in my career to really go and then talk to entrepreneurs based in those specific cities. So it was really exciting and interesting journey.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Uday, we see a lot of very innovative startups and unicorns also coming from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. बट मिस्टर उदय जो challenges जो ये startups जो हैं जो entrepreneurs हैं, their set of challenges are very different from the challenges that startups and entrepreneurs face in the metro cities. So can you please mention some specific challenges that you encountered while trying to foster entrepreneurship in smaller cities, and how did you address them?
So सबसे पहले तो I would always say, I mean, whether that's metro or whether that's Tier 2, Tier 3, it's a mindset, right? I mean, that's very much important. I believe that in Tier 2 and Tier 3, it's more about getting out of that comfort zone. It's also about access to different resources. I think what you get in cities and what you get in Tier 3 smaller towns is completely different. I think that particular gap needs to be really bridged in a way that you find the talent and also give access to mentors, give access to funding, give access to platforms. I think that's something that I found to be missing. So it's at both the ends, at the founder level as well, in a way that how do they really identify problems, use technology, and then really come out with good solutions which are more scalable. I think it's very much important that you have to really work on the mindset of those specific towns or smaller cities, and then after that provide them the real access to what has been required to really start on your own. I always say the first and foremost is the mentorship, the second important part is the visibility, the platforms. And the third part is the credibility. And along with it, it's very important that you also give a sort of a very specific platforms and confidence to those specific entrepreneurs. I think that's very much required now.
डेफिनेटली ऑल्सो मिस्टर उदय आई थिंक कि छोटे टाउन्स में लोगों के पास में नॉलेज होता है, उनके पास में आइडियाज होता है, बट देर इज वन थिंग विच इज लैकिंग इज मेंटोरशिप, राइट काइंड ऑफ मेंटोरशिप हु कैन गाइड दोज यंग माइंड्स एंड यंग पीपल कि आप उसको योर आइडिया कैन बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू अ प्रोडक्ट और अ प्रोसेस और कैन नॉट बी कन्वर्टेड. तो ये जो गैप है, दिस इज ह्यूज, विच आई थिंक एन एक्सपर्ट एंड मेंटोर लाइक यू जो टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटीज में इतने क्लोजली काम करते हैं, यू वर्क ऑन सच थिंग्स. तो ऐसा कोई प्रॉब्लम आपने वहाँ पे, कोई ऐसा केस आप हमारे सामने ला सकते हैं जिसमें यू हैव एनकाउंटर्ड सच अ प्रॉब्लम, सच अ केस?
Very interesting. So, in fact, we run a school for dropouts on entrepreneurship, and over there, I mean, and we started that in Nagpur, and we used to get students from all across India, and mainly from remote areas as well. I think over there, what I really found was the confidence through which a particular student or a particular startup founder can really talk to a mentor or articulate their particular problems. I think वो एक मैंने देखा कि बड़ा missing था. And then when you really connect them to the right mentors, at times they get really sort of enamored by, is a mentor, whether I can ask questions or not. And it happened with a lot of startups. So that's where when we started AIC RMP out here, and we got a startup that's Java Tourism that's working in the very remote part, Palghar district. And then when he came in, we really wanted to check out his confidence and then really giving access to different ecosystem, including Maharashtra State Innovation Society. Over a period of time, I think that is something what we really see, that they overcome that particular challenge of being more vocal about what they really need as an entrepreneur and what they need from a mentor. And at the same point of time, mentoring, I always say it's a reverse mentoring process as well. So what really happens is you need to question mentors at times. And I think we have got quite a few cases in a way that we help entrepreneurs to really reflect on what they are specifically doing with advice from mentors, go back, work on it, and then come back to the mentors and tell them whether that's working or not. I think that's the other part of it, that most of the times I've seen a lot of mentees or startups from the smaller towns not really coming back with the real problems or not having that confidence to say that जो आपने बताया वो workout नहीं कर रहा है. I think that's where it's very much important, and we have seen.
So what are the barriers, Mr. Uday? What are the barriers, if I may ask you? कि क्यों नहीं आ पाते?
पहली चीज कॉन्फिडेंस डेफिनेटली एक मैं बताऊंगा. दूसरी है अपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम. सॉरी टू से, बट व्हाट रियली हैपेंस इज यू आर नॉट बीइंग गिवन इनफ time or even enough platforms to ask whether आप ये क्यों कर रहे हो. So most of the times that's the thing. I think the third part is the soft skills part of it, which is more of how you can be more articulative, and at the same point of time you have to really be very clear in terms of what is it that you really need from a mentor. I think most of the times, as I said, मुश्किल हो जाती है काफ़ी entrepreneurs और founders के लिए ये बताना कि किस purpose से वो काम कर रहे हैं and what is their long-term goal. I think most of the times it's all about next 3 months or 1 month or current challenges. I think it's beyond it. When you are building an enterprise, it's for the long term, it's for sustainable things, and I think the most important thing is the opportunities as well. And one more thing I feel that's very important is also I call it as how do you really monetize your particular value that you are creating, right? I mean, most of the times it's very difficult for startups to really come out with a business model in which the revenue part they really focus on. I think we have seen a lot of apps, a lot of startups really making those mistakes. They feel that कि free में दे दिया या फिर उनके पास एक particular numbers आ गए या customers आ गए, they will be able to sell it later on. I think the selling skills, that's another very, very important skill that needs to be a part. And I think most of our entrepreneurs, they lack that. And we really need to work upon those things, including the technology part of it, which they can learn a lot. And I think I've seen over there. So we are talking of what is it that they are lacking, but let me add when it comes to logical thinking, when it comes to technology skills, I would put them at par with any metro kids, let me tell you, because they have that hunger to learn. And that's the most important part, which we feel that, I feel that that's important as an entrepreneur.
And also, Mr. Uday, they are the people who recognize the problems of the small towns, and they come up with the solutions also, the real time solutions to the real time problems of those towns. But like you rightly mentioned, the ideas also need a language to be converted into a commercial product. Like so, Mr. Uday, can you please share a specific story or example from your experience, from your travel experience, which demonstrates the potential and innovation of these small cities?
Oh, there have been quite a few. जैसे आपने बताया कि जो problems है वो smaller towns में है. They have to really look at those problems or those challenges as opportunities. There is one particular, I mean, I would really love to, and that's a part of GSEA final. I think he came in the finale sort of around last year in Pune while I was there as a jury. He was working on a problem mainly around water, right? I mean, that is something I would not like to name the startup because I think there are quite a few startups that I've worked with, but I would love to address the problems that are being there in those local areas and what startups are really working on. So it's the pure clean water. I think at times we have seen that in remote villages and areas, either you don't have an access to water, or if you have access to water, you don't have access to clean water. And he had come with a wonderful, yes. So he had come with a wonderful product through which you can really give a particular clean water to the residents out there. And these are the remotest areas of the villages. And I think that was a wonderful idea that was being there. One of the startups that we are working on, that's Starix 91, again from GSEA. He has made drones and working on agricultural fields. I think that's also very, very important in a way that how do you really find out your specific market and also sectors. If you would really see the potential the drone has got it in terms of using it different agricultural fields and the data that you get. I think the AI and ML component to it is amazing. So these are a couple of cases. I think another thing what I really would like to talk about is self-help groups, and you have a lot of access to rural livelihood. I think one of the startups that at our center we work with, it's called as Farm DD. What they do is you have those pickles and achars of your grandmother, right? I mean, from rural villages, and they make themselves in a way that they become entrepreneurs through Farm DD platform by selling such products of those specific self-help groups or ladies or women groups. I think these are the real examples that you would find, and these are the real problems that are being tackled and making them atmanirbhar or making them self-sufficient. I think that's very important. And there are number of cases. I think the kind of startups and the kind of problems that they are solving. But one more thing I would like to add here is at times. And it's really interesting that when you start working on a particular idea, it might be at a local level. But the most important part I've seen that startups progressing when they address it not to the local, but also to the regional, national, and then the global level. Exactly. And I think that's another thing which I feel that has got the huge potential in a way that those small startups can make it big. Because now if you would see with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, all those 17 Sustainable Development Goals are universal, right? I mean, which is poverty.
Yeah. Like you gave an example of the water problem. I think the same is the problem across the globe. So United Nations Sustainable Development Goals also envisages addressing one of these problems. So I think this idea has the potential to go global. So, Mr. Uday, you have also worked closely with AICT and the Ministry of Education on new initiatives with regard to innovation and entrepreneurship. Please highlight some of the successful outcomes or startups that have emerged from your efforts, like which you can take the credit for. Like, I have nurtured this startup, I have nurtured this particular student, and I have seen the journey. I have been a part of the journey. Please give one example.
So we work mainly on the macro level at our incubation center. When we work very closely with startups. So through AICTE, I mean, I would not like to name any specific startups as such, but it's the specific programs that we roll out. So Smart India Hackathon, I'm sure you would be aware about it, which is a national movement, and now which you have international hackathons as well through AICTE. So I've been an advisor and have supported a lot of student projects with the funding of as small as 10 lakhs of rupees to make those ideas into products. And I think that is right from, we have products which is simply working for the disabled people. We have products that we have identified that are being developed by the students and now they are in the market. And we showcase them at different global platforms as well. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is I would certainly like to talk about innovation centers, which is an effort that we are doing along with AICT of setting up. So you have those zonal offices of AICTs, and we want to really set up innovation centers out there, wherein those specific centers, the 9 zonal centers that are there of AICT, we could convert them into innovation centers, wherein those specific ideas or projects from students as well as faculty that has got a potential of intellectual property, IP. They file the IP, but the issue is commercializing those particular IPs, and that is where I think we would see we would see huge movement in those specific areas as well through our efforts.
So also, like you mentioned about IPR and commercializing your IPs. So this is one of the problems which I can imagine that the tier 2 and the tier 3 city entrepreneurs must be facing. Like the awareness about IPR filings, the awareness about patents and trademarks for the products, and how important is that? So do you experience such a problem with them, Mr. Uday?
Quite a few. See, the problem is either they don't have access to those specific resources wherein they could file it. But now, thanks to, if you would see state innovation societies, so Maharashtra State Innovation Society, or it could be Andhra, AP has got a wonderful innovation society. Kerala has got a great startup ecosystem. Now they all are making not just the resources available, but also providing them financial benefits, wherein they could file those IPs and the rebate could be given, including Startup India schemes that are being there. So that's an amazing sort of an opportunity. But coming back to your question, when you said, I mean, definitely, when you say IP, I mean, it's not just restricted to only specific to their ideas. It's developing a product and then commercializing that. It's a stepwise process or a phase in which they would require a lot of capital at times as well. And that's where I feel that academic incubators that are being set up at IITs and technology, ITIs as well, now that's the plan. We would see a lot of traction coming through, and students working on specific, not just the ideas, but making those ideas into prototypes and then developing a product and commercializing it. So there is NITI Aayog grant as well, which is through DST. I think AIM is working a lot, Atal Innovation Mission is working a lot on specific to, and also there is a grant from Startup India Seed Fund, which would help you to really convert your ideas into real products, and within which the provision is given, wherein if you are filing for IP or if you are using certain services, you can really have it being budgeted in your.
Mr. Uday, like you also mentioned that you were you were one of the jury members of the Global Student Entrepreneurs Award organized by EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization. So what is your personal opinion on GSEA? How was your experience? What is your opinion?
So I believe this is the third or the fourth consecutive year that we are a part of GSEA. I believe right from 2020-21, I think we got associated as an organization and an individual capacity as well. Let me tell you that there are those government initiatives, and GSEA as a body, what I've seen is doing some amazing work, complementing the work of the government. The reason being is a student entrepreneurship awards. So you really work with the students. The difference that I see with GSEA team out there is what you would find is a lot of commitment. The intent is there to support those students. Even in terms of as a jury, we are being given a lot of specific instructions that it's not about evaluating idea, but it's about encouraging an individual. I've been really fortunate to get associated with GSEA on this, because I see a lot of competitions and challenges out there. And mainly what you would see is a lot of competitions, they really talk about ideas. They don't talk about a founder or an entrepreneur as such. And I think over here at GSA, what we have been able to identify are the right founders or entrepreneurs that may change their idea, but they would take up entrepreneurship. So that's the entire philosophy, which I feel that's very important. And the second part of it is the mentors or even the GSA organizing team and the entire team of GSA that gets involved in mentoring the students. It's not for short term, it's long term. So I've seen a lot of benefits that students get through their connects. So there are a lot of HNIs, angel investors, mentors, experts that are a part of GSA, and they really nurture them. And I think nurturing, that's the right word rather than mentoring, and nurture them so that they can become entrepreneur, if not this particular idea what they've applied for, but maybe something else. So I think these are the two.
Mr. Uday, I have spoken to some of the GSEA contestants who have won the award, and they actually told us about the stories, like how GSEA played a very important role in nurturing their ideas or in the journey in becoming an entrepreneur. So, if I talk about the impact of GSEA or award like GSEA, Mr. Uday, so what impact does GSEA have on nurturing the entrepreneurial landscape in India, especially among the youngsters, the students?
I think the first and foremost, the impact has been in a way that the confidence that you get on that platform, I think that's amazing, in a way that while you are sitting in front of jury, in front of a lot of stakeholders. So the jury consists of not just only the venture capitalists or angel investors. These are industrialists, these are subject matter experts, these are academicians. So the kind of exposure that you get, that's amazing. The second part of it is it's done at different levels, right? So you have a local, regional, national, international level. I think the global, that's the key word out here, wherein exactly. So what really happens is they go through different rounds, and it culminates into something wherein one particular winner or 2-3 winners have been given the global exposure, so that you can really know exactly what's really happening, not just in India, but the entrepreneurs from outside India as well. So I think these are the two across the world. So this is something that I feel that it has to be a level playing field, in a way that our startups get exposure, not just competing amongst each other within the regions, but also at globally. And I think that's amazing work that has been done over there.
It's an amazing initiative, Mr. Uday. So it's a little unfair to ask you, Mr. Uday, but did any student or any particular business stand out for you from the GSEA?
So
I know it's difficult
again,
to answer, but still, if you can name
it is rather last year we started nurturing, mentoring such ideas, and we have two specific startups in our Arambh cohort at AIC. So one is StarX 91, that is based in Patna, a very young kid. I was talking about drone and all those technologies, and I did mention about StarX. So Shazab, that's one of the founders. I mean, that has done some amazing work through drone and using specific. So it's a manufacturing, it's make in India drone, and that's really amazing. And then he's applying that particular part in a lot of sectors. The other one is Braille. They are working specifically for the visually impaired, visually challenged people. A printer they have developed, and I think these are two projects which I feel that very close. One of the projects that I saw, I think 2 years back, done by a young girl student on the mental health. I think that's also very interesting. I just vividly remember that particular project, and also mainly on menstrual issues. And again, I mean, these are a lot of things I feel that the current youth knows exactly what all problems
and how to address them.
And then they are doing it through GSEA or through any other platforms that are being there, and that's amazing.
So you have addressed a significant number of students at various academic campuses. So what's your key message for the aspiring entrepreneurs, for the students, the young minds, the innovators?
So I always use this. I say there are 3 E's for any student entrepreneur. So that's explore. So they need to really explore. I think most of the times we really don't do it because of fear of failure. We don't explore many things. The second is, I always say, is experiment. I think over there, then you would see, and that's as good as validation, right? Whatever that you are exploring, whether that's idea or that's a business model, needs to be validated. So experiment, and it's the third E part of it is experiential. I mean, it has to really convert it into learnings and a lot of reflections. And I think most of the times what I've seen is young students, they are in that comfort zone. They really don't want to come out of it. And I think the other part of it is also a lot of information access is now there. There's a lot of knowledge, YouTube videos, but it's also about how do you filter that and really apply those specific knowledge and make it as your skill set or make it as your particular part of your daily routine. I think as a business person, you really need to identify. And the second part, which I feel that most of the times we really try a lot of things which we feel that has to be very innovative. But I always say that if the innovation doesn't have a value creation or you can't monetize it, I think that's the problem. And I think there is a bit of a gap that I see in students community. They are not able to monetize or they are not able to really create a value and understand. There might be few products that are for the premium segment. I think if at all, what you would see in the global market is all about value creation, and it's all about monetizing and commercializing those things. And I think our students are ready now. They have the platform and they can create those products, and they can be benchmarked to the global market, not just the local or the Indian market.
So, Mr. Uday, thank you for talking to us. I'm sure our conversation would definitely motivate a lot of young students and young entrepreneurs in solidifying their ideas and in the journey in the entrepreneurial journey towards converting the ideas into realities, even though if they are encountering a number of problems. So read more about this story on TICE.news. Thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, and share TICE newsletters. Follow us on Google News, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's stay in touch and stay tuned here.